I guarantee after watching this show, you're going to make some defensive transfers because we're checking out the top 5 defenses from last season. And spoiler alert, there's a couple of teams in the top 5 that you will not expect. They're mid to bottom half teams, and they've got plenty of value options. Welcome to the Gianni Battici YouTube show. Hope you guys are well, and you're looking forward to this show where we're going to be looking at some data with regards to defensive actions, goals conceded, expected goals conceded, clean sheets. We're going to rank all teams in these categories and then get our overall top 5. And look, spoiler alert, let's just start with the obvious, shall we? We all know Arsenal were the best defence in the league last season. You're not telling us anything new here, Gianni. What I will tell you, when we look at their goals conceded, only 29, their expected goals conceded, 28, and their clean sheets, 18, we look at the best defensive teams in Europe, in the top 5 European leagues, Arsenal still come out on top defensively. They are that good, and they were so far apart from the rest of the field. So look, let's not spend too long talking about Arsenal. I think it's pretty clear. We probably need to have Arsenal cover in our back lines. I'm looking at my draft thinking, how did I make my first draft without an Arsenal defender? Let's change that. When you see my second draft, I've no doubt there'll be Arsenal defensive cover. This data just shows me it's naive to go without them. So look, they're about to get even stronger. Calafiori, of course, improves them. Not that they needed another defender, but when we look at Calafiori's data from Opta Analyst in terms of percentile, again, judging him against other centre-backs in European football, top 5 leagues, he's 95 percentile for touches. He's 97 percentile for possession won. He's 81 percentile for goals, 71 percentile for chances created. This is a very attacking defensive player, whether he's left centre back, or centre back in a 2. He's a top tier player that Arsenal are getting here. So look, we've got Arsenal at 1. Might be starting to get a few surprises here. If you're enjoying the show, though, hit the like button, but also subscribe to the channel. Don't want you missing out on all my pre-season content. So subscribe with that notification bell to make sure you don't miss a video. And drop a comment and let me know feedback on today's video, which is obviously quite data heavy. This is all from the Fantasy Football Scout members area, by the way. And there is a link in the description if you want to know more. And check Scout out. So number 2, it is Man City. Okay, top 2, maybe. But the difference here between Man City and Arsenal is massive. So goals conceded, not a huge amount. There's only 5 in it. City conceded 34. Expected goals conceded, there's a little more in it. 35.8, so 36 XGC for Man City. But in terms of clean sheets, there's a big difference because that's where we're getting our FPL points from. Well, Man City ranked joint second with 13 clean sheets compared to Arsenal's 18. That's a big difference. That's 5 extra clean sheets in a season. Quite frankly, Man City probably need to do a little bit better if we're spending 5.56 million on their defenders, knowing that's the same price as the Arsenal backline. So look, this is where it gets interesting. At number 3, Liverpool, who are often criticised for like, oh, they never keep clean sheets. Well, look, they've kept 10 clean sheets last season, which is around 1 every 4 games. They did concede 41 goals. The good thing about Liverpool is they often, when they do concede, they might concede a few, but they have got chances of those clean sheets still. Their expected goals conceded, however, wasn't great. Like they were expected to concede 46. It's just showing the amount of volume on their goal compared to the amount of volume on Arsenal's goal. Arsenal 28 expected, Liverpool 46 expected. That's a huge difference between 2 of the top 4, right? And perhaps you don't necessarily expect that. Of course, when we buy Liverpool defenders, we're often looking at Trent and therefore we're looking at upside. But this is where it gets interesting because you might expect to see Newcastle or Chelsea or Spurs, Man United, whatever, teams that make up the top 4 or top 6, those getting European spots. But actually, in at number 4, it's Everton. Yeah, straight away, we have to speak about Sean Dyche because wherever Dyche is, I remember at Burnley, Burnley had 4.5 defender options, and we always had Sean Dyche cover. And it's the same again at Everton. Like, they don't play attractive football. Their attacking stats aren't great, but their defensive data is always very, very strong. They conceded 51 goals, which is only 10 more than Liverpool. Their expected goals against them, Shaw was 56, and Pickford had a great season. He was the top scoring goalkeeper last year. But this is where it's really interesting. Clean sheets. Everton kept the same amount of clean sheets as Man City. Now, Everton last season had 4 million option in Jared Branthwaite, and this season they've got 4.5 million options in the likes of Ashley Young or Mikalenko, all the fullbacks pretty much, Patterson, Coleman, the lot. I look at this and go, It's Sean Dyche. We know what we're getting. As long as he's at that football club, an Everton defender feels like an absolute steal, knowing you can spend 4.5 million on them. Of course, you can spend 5 million on Pickford, a Tarkowski, a Branthwaite. You get a little bit extra, but you don't need to. Go for the 4.5 option and just bank these 13 clean sheets that they got last season. Let's have a look and see who's at fifth, shall we? Guys, before we do, if you fancy joining my mini league, it's M7UEO5. Apologies, I've been sharing the wrong mini league for like all of pre-season. This is the right one. Join this code. If you've already joined, apologies. It was an old league. So in at number 5, we're going to talk about assets from the fourth and fifth teams, by the way. No, it's not Chelsea. No, it's not Newcastle. It's not Spurs or Man United. We have Crystal Palace. Yes, that's right. Crystal Palace are one of the league's best defences. They're very good in attack also, especially when we look at the data after post Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson always had quite good defensive numbers, but Glasner's numbers are even better all over the park. So they conceded the 5th amount of goals in the league. They conceded the 4th amount of expected goals, fewer expected goals than Everton, and they conceded the 4th amount of clean sheets. They tied with Liverpool on 10 clean sheets. Crystal Palace are a top defence. And under Glasner, surely they're going to get better and better, because we've seen Glasner like, oh, he's new to the league. First few months are always going to be, you'd expect, quite difficult for a manager coming from overseas managing in the league for the first time, especially a team like Palace, who at the time weren't doing too well at all when Hodgson left. Now he's got his feet under the table. I expect Glasner, after full pre-season, to have this Palace team even more defensively astute and even more exciting in attack, even with Elise's departure. If they keep hold of Mark Gay, they've got Anderson, they've got Mitchell, they've got Munoz. That's a very strong back four. They've got Dean Henderson in goal. There's good options. And when I think about value options, some of the guys I just mentioned are 5 million, Munoz and Mitchell. We've mentioned Tarkowski and Branthwaite, Pickford. But there's 3 very obvious 4.5 options here. Mark Gahey you could add as a 4th option, but Anderson, for me, is the better Crystal Palace centre-back in terms of goal threat. So Anderson at 4.5. In goal for Palace, both keepers are 4.5. Henderson is 4.5. So is Johnston. I think Henderson will be the number 1. Although, look, 2 very strong keepers who do seem to always get injured. But 4.5, I think Henderson's a great option. Remember, Henderson made the England squad this summer. And then at Everton, you look at the fullbacks, as mentioned. All the fullbacks are 4.5. Mikalenko is clearly the standout. Let's just hope he doesn't get sold, because there has been rumours linking him with a move overseas. But I think Mikalenko is still probably likely to stay. Everton, of course, have sold Onana and cashed in on him. 4.5 million defenders from 2 of the best defensive teams in the league in Everton and Crystal Palace. Guys, I think we have to consider them. Look at your 4.5 defenders. If they're from Brighton or Aston Villa or Newcastle, maybe consider swapping one of those guys out. And I'm talking Konza and Byrne and Lewis Dunk, maybe for an Anderson or a Mikalenko. Because look, the stats don't lie. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see if they continue. But knowing Sean Dyche is Sean Dyche, I think it continues. Knowing Glasner seems to be going places, I think it continues. If you've enjoyed this show, guys, do hit that like and subscribe button. You might also want to just note the fixtures, though, right? So from those 5 teams, the reason we're not buying too many Arsenal players has been the defensive fixtures or the fixtures. But I filtered this in the Scout members area by defence rather than just overall. We can still see, though, 3 red fixtures for Arsenal, because they do have away trips to City, to Tottenham, to Villa. Can they keep clean sheets in those? They absolutely still can. When we look at Palace, they've only got 2 reds in Liverpool and Chelsea. Everton only 2 reds as well in terms of the defensive fixture for them. The ticker says it's tough going to Spurs, it's tough going to Villa Park. Sure, I get that for Everton, but look at all those blues for Everton, knowing you're only spending 4.5. Liverpool as well, not a single red fixture. Their toughest is Man United, Old Trafford. And then Man City, again, some tricky fixtures to start the season for them. I look at this and I think Trent, I think 4.5 Everton, I think 4.5 Palace, and then maybe I'm filling in the gaps. But it's really interesting to look and filter tickers by attack or defence. This has been filtered by defence. If you've enjoyed this show but want some more content, want extra content, want to be part or just support the channel, make sure you get all your comments replied to both in live chat and on videos. You can join and become a squad member or an Ultras member for the WhatsApp group, which includes the likes of Ali Yahangarov, who won FPL 2 years ago. So click the word join below this screen. If you haven't already seen Ali's team selection, by the way, that is available on this channel too. Guys, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you for another video very, very soon. Bye-bye.